Most musicians are broke, and the reason why is because they don't know how to set goals. Making more music doesn't count. So I'm gonna show you how I use these steps to turn my music into real money I can live off of, and how you can steal and use this method too. Because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck in the same spot in 2025. And believe it or not, the biggest factor has nothing to do with talent. First thing we need to do is understand what our personal end game looks like. This engages our long-term thinking skills that most musicians just never have the time to do because they're too busy thinking about the next gig, the next paycheck, and so on and so forth. And if you're doing this, there isn't an actual plan to improve your position on the game board. Most people just roll the dice and then move around the board aimlessly. That's not what we're gonna do because it doesn't guarantee success. Every move that you're making in regards to your career should move you closer to your goals. To break it down, most musicians are after one of three things, if not all of them at once. Notoriety, whether it be the Grammys, acceptance with your peers, accolades, monetization of their art, their music, the merchandise that they're selling, streaming royalties, and the third one being the freedom to create without boundaries. My goal is to somehow be involved with the Beyond the SpiderVerse campaign in the next 2-3 years. Literally fulfills all three of these for myself. But if you can't explain how your goal fits into at least one of these categories, again, you're probably wasting time or just don't understand your music career. And yes, practicing actually counts as a goal because you're setting a benchmark to become better, which gives you the freedom to go from idea to product as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So once you've pinpointed that ultimate goal, the next step is figuring out how to get there. Like with chess, you gotta look at least 4 moves ahead if you really wanna win. A method I use is I ask myself, what would make this goal absolutely impossible to achieve? And then I'll do the opposite by creating a series of if-then statements, kind of like a hypothesis back in high school. These will be our benchmarks to map out the logical pathway to success, which is how we move our pieces on the board with purpose. Take my goal with Beyond the SpiderVerse, for example. If I attend 2 to 5 different industry events related to that project, connect with, 10 different publishers that have previously worked on the last 2 films, and try to leverage my network of publishers that I already work with, it is almost highly unlikely that my music won't be considered. This approach is absolutely crucial because it transforms that huge goal that you have into actual stepping stones to get there. Because it's all about input versus output. The input being the planned actions that you're about to take versus the output being the expected result of those actions. By tracking what you've accomplished against your if-then roadmap strategy, you can clearly see the progress that you're making with your goals. I love this method because just like a game, if you miss a turn or just make the wrong move, you can literally see it. Very straightforward way to keep yourself accountable and on track. Now, after you start to implement these actionable steps, you can take your hypothesis or if-then statements and check off the ones that you've done versus the ones that you haven't done. So now there's way less ways for you to ask yourself, why haven't I gotten where I wanted to be yet? Because it's literally on paper. Now, maybe at the end of the quarter or the end of the year, you can ask yourself, and this is the next step, did you move your pieces according to the plan? Or did what I want happen actually happen? If so, great, congratulations, you win. Now it's time to set the bar even higher. But if you didn't, well, that's interesting. I wonder why that didn't happen this time. This is when you start to strategize for the next round. And you do this by opening up your if-then statements, checking off the ones that you did implement, and trying to think about why it didn't happen. It could have been a time and unforeseen circumstance, that's totally understandable, but now you have the opportunity to tweak those hypotheses, make new ones, and then carry out those actions again until you start seeing better results. That way, the goal or the mission never changes, it's just the way you get there, which can keep you laser focused. And here's the most exciting part. I tell my students this all the time in our private community, the Sync Alliance. Sometimes when you aim for the stars, you hit the moon on accident, meaning you focus so much effort on this huge goal that you never thought you might be able to achieve before. It normally leads to more unexpected victories. You might master a new style of music to make, stumble across some more opportunities like a new opportunity to tour or different sync placements that pay even more. So instead of just rolling the dice and waiting for yourself to go viral to move across the board, take 2024 by the horns and set goals this way so that you can actually achieve them. So picture the end game, come up with a series of different hypotheses that you can test, execute, and then rinse and repeat. And if you're not using sync licensing as part of your strategy to actually level up your music career in 2024, you're probably missing out on a huge opportunity because it helps you get your music out to millions of people while you get paid to do it. If you want to learn how to get started with this, check this video out here.